There's always going to be talk of who the greatest MMA fighters of all time are, but this year more than most, it has been a particularly relevant conversation. Whether it's due to the discourse surrounding Jon Jones and the pound-for-pound rankings or the retirement of Demetrious Johnson, it's been a consistent topic in recent months. One of the latest fighters to weigh in with his own take on the discussion is the former UFC featherweight champion, Max Holloway. Blessed not only comes in with a fairly unique Mount Rushmore list but explains why they all deserve their spots. In an interview with Stake ahead of his huge main event clash with Ilia Topuria at UFC 308, Holloway left out some big names but justified why that is the case. I would say Demetrious Johnson is definitely up there, Anderson Silva is there too, GSP, and then you have to give it to Forrest Griffin because he helped put the UFC on the map. That TUF Finale on Spike TV was huge for the UFC, so those are my guys for sure. Those four guys are absolute animals. Holloway went on to talk about how, in his opinion, Johnson does not get the respect that he deserves just because he reigned supreme in the smallest of the men's weight classes. When you talk about Demetrious Johnson, it seems insane to me how he is viewed just because he fought at 125 pounds. This 125er would absolutely whoop your ass. A lot of bigger guys think they can hang with him. You get these influencers and social media personalities who go around screaming, "I'm 260 bro, he's 125 pounds. Brother, Demetrious Johnson would take your ACL and your arm home and then he would come back and cut your head off if he wanted to. You could do nothing about it, he's such a beast." The BMF titleholder added that he has a lot of respect for the greatest welterweight and middleweight of all time, both of which made his list. "I wish I was fighting during the time that GSP was around. I would have loved to have shared the octagon with him. He's one of the greats, as was Anderson Silva, he was such a beast." Holloway signed off by explaining the reasoning behind his picks, detailing his own specific criteria and why that eliminates his longtime rival, Daniel Cormier. "Some people might disagree with my Mount Rushmore, but I'm looking at the way these fighters carried themselves inside and outside of the octagon, how they were ambassadors for the sport and for the company as well. DC is probably going to be mad that he's not in my Mount Rushmore of MMA, but I don't like the way he carries himself out of the UFC. He thinks he's the daddest man on the planet, he is delusional."